Okay, today what we're going to be talking about is called similar polygons. Alright, first, what are similar polygons? Similar polygons have the same angle size but different side lengths. However, the side lengths actually do, the R shouldn't be there, your guys' R won't be there, do have a common ratio. For example, we see on this first one, we're going to ask, is it a similar polygon? So first we see that we have a 35, 65, 80. Well, this one also has 35, 65, 80. So right then and there we can say, okay, so they at least have the same angle size. That's the first part. The second part is called a ratio. Okay, so 8 matches up with 2. So we're going to say 2 over 8. If I reduce that down in my calculator, that's 1 over 4. Okay. Then you've got 4 and 1. Well, 1 over 4 is still 1 over 4. Okay. And finally, 1.5 over 6. If you took that in your calculator, you take 1.5, you divide it by 4, or by 6, and then you press math, enter. It'll also give you 1 over 4. So you'll notice that the ratio of this is 4 to 1. Okay, 4 to 1, and it is similar, so they are similar. Okay, so the ratio is 4 to 1, they are similar. This next one, okay, so let's check this out. This is a parallelogram. Okay, so what do we know about parallelograms? Well, we know that opposite angles are congruent, so this is also 35. And we know that consecutive angles right here add up to 180, so 35 plus 145 equals 180. Okay, same idea over here. It's 115 here, and this should be 65. Okay? What you'll notice about this one and this one are the angles do not match. Even though technically these both have common ratios, if I actually did this out, even though they have common ratios, the angles are not the same, so they are not similar polygons. Okay? Last one. These are trapezoids, so we know that sides that are on the same side are congruent. So this one is 102. Are not congruent. They add up to 180. So this adds up to 180, and this one adds up to 116. We'll notice something. Okay, so their angles are the same. Cool. Step 1. Step 2, let's figure this out. Okay, so up here, it doesn't matter which one goes on top as long as the same figure always goes on top. For example, I can have 28 and I can be divided by 7. But if I'm going to do it again, I got to take 32 now and divide it by 8. 24 divided by 6. And then finally 12 divided by 4. Okay. 32 divided by 8, well, that's also 4. 24 divided by 6, well, that's also 4. 12 divided by 4, well, that is 3. So not all of these have the same ratio. Okay, not all the sides have the same ratio. So if they do not all have the same ratio, they are not similar. Okay. So remember, they have to have the same angle size and the same ratio throughout. If they do not, then it does not work. So what I want you guys to do is the 2 you tries. See if you guys can figure this out. So this is a parallelogram. See if you can figure that one out. Okay, so if I was going to do this, this would be 117, 117 and 63. 117, 63, 117, 63. Alright, so we know that they have the same angle size, because remember, parallelograms, this adds up to 180, these are congruent. Let's see if they have the same ratio. So 30 divided by 15, that equals 2, alright. And 26 divided by 13, that also equals 2. So that means that these two are similar. Okay, they're similar. Let's try this one over here. 48 and 65 makes 113. The last one would be 67. Well, we can already tell that it does not have an 82, so these cannot be similar because angles are not congruent, so they are not similar. Okay? Because the angles aren't congruent, they can't be similar. Remember, 2 things. They have to have the same ratio all throughout the thing, and then they also have to have the same, or they have to have the congruent angles. Okay? Now that doesn't mean that they have to be in the same spot. For example, if this was right here was 82 and this is 82, even though they're not in the same spot, they are still congruent because they'd still have congruent angles. It's just corresponding sides needs to be similar and corresponding angles need to be congruent. Alright. This next part. Okay, so we're told that the following polygons are similar. So we know they're similar, we don't have to worry about the angles. Determine the ratio. So this is pretty easy. Because I didn't put the angles on there, it should be pretty easy. So 8 and 2. 8 divided by 2. When you do that, you get 4. Okay, 4 over 1. Or 4 to 1. So the ratio here is 4 to 1. So essentially what it's saying is if you take this and multiply it by 4, you'll get this number. If you take this number and multiply it by 4, you'll get this number. If you take this number and multiply by 4, you'll get this number. This next one, doesn't matter which, just choose the sides. So let's do the bigger. Let's do 20 divided by 12. Once again, just put these into your calculator, then press math, enter. So if you put it into your calculator, you'll get 20 divided by 12. So that will be it'll reduce down to 5 over 3. Okay, so it'll reduce down to 5 over 3, or what you'd write it as a ratio is every 5 to 3. Okay, so what that means is if you're to take these small numbers and multiply by 5/3, you'll get the bigger number. Okay, or for every 5, there's 3. Okay, so for example, if we were to say there's 20 things, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then there's 12 things over here. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For every 5 group that they have, you have a 3 group over here. 5, 3. so on and so forth. All that means is that every 5 numbers that this has, this only has 3. That's what a ratio means. Alright, what I want you guys to do this time is try to figure out the ratio of these two triangles. So pause the video, get started. Okay, once again, we're going to take 18 divided by 12. 18 divided by 12, when it reduces down, it's going to be 3 over 2, meaning 3 to 2. So for every 3 numbers this thing has, this only has 2. So that's why if you divide this by 3, you'll get 6. Divide this by 2, you'll get 6. So that's how the ratio works. Is just figuring out, okay, so for every 3 numbers that this has 2. And that's how you find ratios. Okay. Last but not least is finding missing numbers of polygons. Okay, so once again, we have to first find the ratio. But we're going to leave it in fraction form, and this is why we're going to leave it in fraction form. We got to first find where a ratio is. Okay, so 64, 65, 51. 64, 65, 51. You'll notice how this side and this side are supposed to be similar, so they're flipped. So we're going to be using 16 and 4 because they're on the same side of the 6 that has the 64 and 65, alright? So it's going to be 16 divided by 4. Alright, 16 divided by 4 gives us 4 over 1. Or just 4. So, that means if you take this number and multiply it by 4, you'll get to this number. Okay, so 64, 51. 64, 51, that means the same thing here. If we take this 8 and we multiply by 4, we should get this number. So 8 times 4 equals 32. So that's what this side is. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Going from here to here means we multiply by 4, so that means from going from here to here we have to divide by 4. So that's the ratio. Okay, so it's 4 to 1, meaning that every 4 numbers of these, you get 1 number over here. Okay, next one. Alright. So, we know that this and this are similar sides. So let's figure this out. So it's going to be 14 over 4. 14 over 4. Which equals 7 over 2. So now what we got to do with this information is we have to figure out what converting from the bigger to the smaller, and then from the smaller to the bigger if we need to. So first, we know 49, so it's between the 107 and the 73. So you have 107, 73 here. Okay, so we know that 49, the ratio, alright, is 7 over 2, meaning we're going to take 49 and multiply by 7 divided by 2, which looks like this. 49 times, actually here, let's do it like this. This is how you're going to set up the ratio. Alright, so 49 over x equals 42, well, not 42, equals 7 over 2. Okay, so we're going to do, first we're going to cross multiply. You're going to take 4 times x, or 7, so that's 7x, and that's going to be 49 times 2, which is 98. And then we're going to divide by 7. So if I did that, I'd end up with 14. So that means that this side is 14. Or not that side. Sorry. This side is 14. Okay, so now let's do the same thing with 35. Okay, so 35 over its smaller variable x equals 7 over 2. So we're going to multiply. X times 7 equals 7x. 2 times 35 equals 70. Okay, divide by 7, x equals 10. That means that this smaller side up here, or this side right here, is 10. So we've got all the sides over here, we just need this last side over here. This is where it becomes a little bit tricky too. Because once again, what you're going to do, so you can take this 42. Alright, but we're going from smaller to bigger, meaning we don't know the bigger part, which is up here. We once again set this over 7 over 2. Now we're going to multiply. 42 times 7 equals 294 equals 2x, and then we're going to divide by 2 again. So x gives us 147. So this side is 147. So I want you guys to try these two right here, or this one right here. See if you can figure out, first figure out the ratio, then figure out the missing sides. Okay. So first ratio, long side, so it's going to be 20 over 15, which reduces down to 4 over 3. Okay, so this one I kind of cheat, like technically since it's a rectangle it should be 12, 12, 20, 20, but we're just going to show you anyway. So let's say I'm trying to go from this smaller side to this side. So once again it's going to be, we don't know the big side, but we do know the small side. So you're going to do 4 over 3. So you're going to multiply this, it becomes 36. You're going to multiply this. That's going to give you 3x. Then you would divide by 3, you get x equals 12. So yeah, 12 would go right there. Okay? And then once again, to go from big to small, let's try doing 20 down. Okay, so let's say we have 20. Okay, so let's do, say we didn't know 20 over x. Now notice it's on top now because it's the larger number, so it's going to be 20 over x equals 4 over 3. So these would multiply, you get 4x equals 60, divide by 4, x equals 15. Okay, so then this would be 15. So once again, it's 20 and 9. I know this is a little bit confusing. Get started on the worksheet if you can. Sorry, I covered that up. Get started on the worksheet if you can. Ask me questions if you need to, and then I can help you with that. Alright, thank you.